Hello everyone, today is 20th of July, Saturday, so I hope you have a wonderful day and a great weekend. Now it's 5 to 10 in the morning, Moscow time. I'm Levan Gudadze and this is my first update for a day in which I will share all the main news that are making headlines in Russian media outlets and Russian language pages on different internet platforms. And there are quite a few very significant developments and news that I like to share with you for this moment. Although before I start, let me notice, if I may, that this small media project of mine with several channels on YouTube, Rumble, Telegram is completely subscriber funded, and I will be immensely grateful if you will also consider to support my work with small donations through PayPal or Boosty, or by subscribing to my Patreon page, where monthly subscription starts from $5. So it may not be that much, but it is very important to me because Patreon allows me to know funds that I'm working with during the months. So all the links are under this video in description box and in the pinned comment. And of course, many thanks to all the members of our community who supported and continues to support my work. Thank you very much. That being said, let's talk about news now, and I will start with RIA Novosti's report, which is based on statement of Russian Defense Ministry that Russian armed forces liberated settlement of Yuryevka in Donetsk People's Republic. And well, Yuryevka is on New York direction, on outskirts of New York, and of course many members of our community very well informed that lately, last 2-3 weeks, Russian armed forces conducting this kind of sectoral scale offensive operation in New York Donetsk direction. And this is Yuryevka, by the way. This is New York here, and that's the Yuryevka. Tiny settlement, I will say, just couple of houses with the farms and also some farm complex here, but once again, step by step, Russian forces moving forward, liberating more and more territories, which is the main point, of course. I'm quite sure it will not take too long, and New York itself will be under full Russian control. And also, by the way, I will share with you information about Russian success in Progress direction. Progress is a settlement's name. So this is their settlement, much bigger settlement than Yuryevka. If we zoom in, I mean, here you can see like at least several streets, a few dozen buildings, even some small industrial area. And this settlement is under full Russian control. Progress is liberated, and Russian advances continue, by the way, even though Russian armed forces are operating with mobile or active defense strategy because of the constant increased pressure on Kiev regime's defense lines, Kiev regime's forces. Time to time, in one or other direction, Kiev regime forces are no longer able to withstand pressure. They are retreating, withdrawing from their positions, and of course, Russian troops are moving forward. In that case, although, as I said many times before, we should not expect this arrow type of large-scale offensive operations from Russian side yet, until Kiev regime's forces will start collapsing, not just in one or two directions, but all along the front line. And when we see collapse of Kiev regime forces all along the front line, that's the time when we should also expect these decisive actions from Russian military. Arrow offensives, if you like, but not yet. Not yet. It will take some time. And by the way, this is very important nuance because, as I mentioned many times before, this active defense strategy allows Russian troops to demilitarize Kiev regime on more or less same lines. By acting this way, of course, this strategy allows Russian forces to minimize casualty numbers, minimize damage on the ground, because just imagine what would happen with the Kharkov city, for example, if Russian armed forces will conduct right now or 5 months ago offensive, large-scale offensive, Kharkov would be decimated, right? And it's a huge city, by the way. It's the second biggest city in Ukraine, right? And to avoid this large-scale destruction, Russian side chose to deploy this active defense strategy, and that's why we should only expect large-scale offensives when Kiev regime's forces collapse all along the front lines. So in that way, casualty numbers will be as minimal as possible, and same time destruction on the ground to the infrastructure will be also as minimum as possible. And it is very important for Russian side, because whatever is destroyed on battleground, all those settlements, many of which are almost completely erased from the face of the earth, have to be rebuilt, and rebuilt by Russia, because this is a Russian territory, and Russia is liberating its own land and its own people. That's how it is. Anyways, let's continue. RIA Novosti is reporting that Russian air defense systems intercepted 27 drones that were launched by Kiev regime forces towards Russian territories. 26 drone was intercepted in Rostov region, and one drone in Smolensk region. So it seems like Rostov direction was the main one for the Kiev regime in this attempt to strike deep inside the Russian territory. No reports for now about casualties on the ground or more or less significant damage. If any updates, of course, I will share additional information on my Telegram channel and on my Twitter X page. If you are not subscribed, by the way, please consider to do so. It's a free subscription on Telegram. It's a free subscription on Twitter X, and those pages, those channels may become very useful if YouTube's administration decides to shut down my channel, for example. And those channels on Telegram and Twitter, also Rumble, will become much more useful than to maintain communication. So they are kind of main reserve lines right now. Anyways, let's continue. RIA Novosti is reporting about beginning of the evacuation of Kiev regime troops from Kharkov region. This information is based on locals in a region who are noticing this movement of the Kiev regime troops, and this is happening in Kupiansk direction. Lately, of course, rumors start circulated on internet, and we all are informed about it, that Russian armed forces may conduct some sectoral scale offensive in this area, which is a possibility, obviously. Although let's wait and see. If this withdrawal of the Kiev regime forces that is happening according to locals are connected with maybe upcoming Russian local scale offensive or sectoral level offensive operation in Kupiansk sector. Let's see, we will find out soon. Vzгляд newspaper is reporting that according to Russian war correspondent, military correspondent Alexander Kots, Russian defense minister, new defense minister Belousov, Andrei Belousov, promised to journalists and basically made statement that on Russian airfields protective constructions will be built for planes, because the special experience of a special military operation definitely proved that planes are vulnerable. If they are stationed under the open sky. They are vulnerable from drone attacks, from long-range missile attacks, and therefore it is great news. It is great news that Russian engineers will start building these defensive constructions for the planes on the airfield. It's a little too late, in my personal opinion. Those defensive constructions should be built way before even special military operation started, because it does make all the sense to build these constructions and keep planes more in a more safe environment, but well, it's better to do it late than never. So therefore, I will take this news as something positive. RT is also reporting about a phone call that take place between Trump, former and possibly future president of US, and Western appointed leader of the Kiev regime, Zelensky, who is no longer has any legitimacy in Ukraine. So information is that former US president and Republican candidate in the upcoming election, Donald Trump, has reiterated his pledge to stop the conflict between Moscow and Kiev following conversation with Ukraine's Vladimir Zelensky on Friday. Trump wrote in a post on Truth Social that he had a very good phone call with Zelensky, during which Ukrainian leader congratulated him on a very successful Republican National Convention and condemned their heinous assassination attempt. Trump went on to say that he appreciates Zelensky for reaching out because, and this is quote by the way, I, as your next president, and he's talking to US public, of course, will bring peace to the world and end the war that has cost so many lives and devastated countless innocent families. Well, I don't think Zelensky was very happy to hear anything about ending the conflict. He's gonna be scared as hell, by the way, right now after this conversation with Trump, because at least for now we have indicators that Trump and his inner circle really, they are genuine. It seems like when it comes to ending this hostility, this proxy war against Russia. And well, I hope it is the case. I hope it is the case. We will find out, isn't it? November is not far away. There will be elections, and if you remember, just recently Trump said that if he's elected as president, he will end hostilities in Ukraine. He will end basically this proxy war. He did not use this word, proxy war against Russia, but that's what it is, isn't it? This is a proxy war that NATO, under leadership of US, is waging against Russia. And Trump said that he will end this conflict before inauguration, if he is elected. And inauguration will take place on 20 or 25th of January, right? And elections are on 5th of November. So let's see what will happen. Also, RIA Novosti is reporting, and many of you probably already know about this news, that former member of the Ukraine so-called parliament and extreme Russophobe, by the way, that was calling openly to kill Russians just because of they are Russians. She was all about banning Russian language, Russian culture, everything Russian. I mean, she was full of hatred, by the way. This person, Irina Farion, and well, in Lvov city in western Ukraine, that's soon to be Poland again, I believe, because you know my take on Ukraine, isn't it? Fate of Ukraine, I believe this failed state will be divided between the NATO and Russia. NATO will be in control of western parts, where Lvov is, this city, and the rest of the Ukraine will be controlled by Russia and will join Russia eventually. So this extremist individual, extreme Russophobe and xenophobe, was shot in the head in Lvov, and she died. So this Russophobe was killed. I saw information about a statement of Interior Ministry of Ukraine. They are considering several possibilities what had happened, from some personal feud with someone to attack because of some public activity of this person. Whatever the case, She is no longer going to harass anybody and call to exterminate Russians. That's for sure. And by the way, I will not be surprised at all if Kyiv regime will start blaming Moscow in this, although why would Moscow care about this low-level crap individual? I don't know. She was just making noise, too much noise really, and there was harassing Russians in Ukraine, Russian speakers in Ukraine, that's all, but she was not really any importance of politician, let's be clear about it. But Kyiv regime, we know how Kyiv regime operates, isn't it? So I will not be surprised at all if they will try to blame on Russia. Although it was some sort of internal feud, I guess. But anyways, among these extremist individuals, after all, it happened in Lvov, which is, one may say, birthplace of all sort of extremism that is that we are seeing in modern Ukraine. RIA Novosti is reporting that Russian singer Shaman, a very popular singer in Russia, that was recently banned, sanctioned by EU. His channel was shut down on YouTube. I mean, this is so... YouTube's administration has no shame, isn't it? They are despicable people, despicable individuals, by the way, just YouTube administrators. And Google's leadership in general, they are despicable people, for sure. And they shut down channel of musician, by the way. Musician. He has songs there. I mean, what are you doing? But as I said, man, administrators of the YouTube and the Google in general, this corporation are worst human beings of modern times, absolutely despicable individuals. But anyways, what those criminals did just generated even more interest towards Shaman, and he is not backing down. He went to organized concert right next to US Embassy yesterday, and plenty of people went there. US Embassy was in Russian flags, and criminals that are representing US in that embassy, and all of them are criminals, by the way. Obviously, everybody who represents Biden's administration are criminals. In my personal opinion, criminals, and should be prosecuted for all the crimes that US committed, including against Russia. So those criminals were listening to Russian music entire evening yesterday, which is great. This type of concert should take place every day. So let those xenophobes, Russophobes, and a bunch of garbage individuals in US Embassy learn some more Russian. Because many of them don't even speak Russian, by the way. That's the level of US diplomacy nowadays. They are sending their stuff in the country, and they don't even speak language of that country. Despicable garbage bastards, that's all. RT is reporting that a Russian court jails American journalist, so-called journalist, let's be clear here, for 16 years for spying. US so-called journalist Ivan Gershkovich has been sentenced by a Russian court to 16 years in prison after being found guilty of spying. Friday's ruling comes after the trial held behind the closed doors due to national security issues. The 32-year-old was a Wall Street Journal's reporter, and he was arrested in March 2023 in Yekaterinburg. The Federal Security Service, FSB, said he had information on Russian defense enterprise. He was gathering information, by the way. Secret services are using media outlets and planting their stuff in media outlets, so that then they will use journalism as a kind of cover-up for their intelligence operations. This is exactly the case with this Gershkovich. He is not a journalist. He never was a journalist, for God's sake. He is a spy. very much unprofessional or very low-level spy that went on some mission and failed, and that's it really. And now, because of this sentence, because he's been proven guilty, Russian president has legal means to pardon him, and then exchange for Russian citizens that are jailed in US, for example. Maybe Russian spies that are jailed in US, or maybe Russian citizens that are unlawfully jailed in Ukraine, in US. Well, that's quite interesting. US, Ukraine, yes, man. That should be quite disturbing for US citizens when you associate US with Ukraine. Maybe Ukraine's fate is waiting for US also, I don't know. So yes, this is important. This information is important because, as I said in my yesterday's update, once Gershkovich is sentenced, then Russian president has legal means to pardon him, and the exchange may take place. Recently, Lavrov, foreign minister of Russian Federation, mentioned that security services of the two countries are in touch. They are working on the matter of possible exchange, as far as I understand, and just give it 3 to 5 months from now, and most likely Gershkovich, maybe some other US spies in Russian captivity, will be exchanged on Russian citizens that are in captivity in US or in other NATO member states. That's been said, let's continue with some other news. RT is reporting that Israel's constructions of settlements on the Palestinian land violates the Geneva Convention and amounts to a policy of de facto annexation. The International Court of Justice, ICJ, which is a UN court, by the way, don't mistake it with ICC, this US run so-called court, International Criminal Court. This is a different one. So ICJ has declared the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has dismissed this decision of ICJ and call it a false ruling, insisting that the West Bank is a Jewish land. Okay, I mean, what can I say about it? Argument of the Netanyahu is that some 2,000 years ago, people that had Jewish faith were living in these areas of the Middle East. Yes, it's historically accurate. Yes, people with the Jewish faith definitely lived there in those areas, but does it mean that West Bank now is a Jewish land after 2,000 years? I don't know. But with this logic, then all people of this world should go to Africa, right? Because we all came from Africa, and all of us have every right on Africa, right? I mean, it's the same logic. So do I have any rights on any land in Africa? I don't think so. Do you? So therefore, this is just, I don't know, man. I don't know. Leadership of Israel is something else, man. Modern leadership of Israel is. Anyways, let's continue. Glad newspaper is reporting that Microsoft stated that they deal with the majority of the issues with their programs because of which world, especially Western world, was hit hard yesterday with some significant issues in the communication, travel, and so on. But some issues still remain. And many companies may still experience difficulties, although work is done, and I guess give it another 24 to 48 hours, and this IT blackout will be resolved. But as I said yesterday, by the way, this situation is one more reason why Microsoft should be broken up in, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 different companies, because you should never allow these giants to exist in the first place when they are monopolies in a world. And if something goes down badly in these companies, in one of the products of these companies, in software or whatever, then the world is in trouble. And we see it yesterday clearly, isn't it? So what additional reasoning is necessary or needed to realize that, I mean, you cannot allow these immense size monopolies to exist, these so-called multinational corporations that are dominating the market. I'm all for free economy, by the way, but when companies become when companies will start taking position of monopoly, government should intervene in that case to protect people's interests. Government institutions should intervene and break up these companies so that there will be no monopolies in any field, because it's bad, man. It's bad for economy, these monopolies. It's bad for business, because absence of competitiveness is minimizing incentive in monopolist company to create some better and better products, because they are monopoly. Why would they care? While if they are competing with someone, they will be forced to constantly work on improvements, right? And with whom Microsoft is competing right now? With nobody. I mean, there are some alternative companies that are producing POs and software, but no one is close to Microsoft. Anyways, RT is reporting that Ukraine is about to get first 1.5 billion of seized Russian assets, according to Euroclear, by the way. So it's official now. So Brussels-based depository and clearinghouse Euroclear has confirmed that it will confiscate interest generated by frozen Russian funds that it holds, and will transfer the money to Ukraine. In July 2024, Euroclear will make a first payment of 1.55 billion euros to their European Fund for Ukraine, following the recent implementation of their EU regulation on their windfall contribution, Euroclear said in a statement on Friday. So this is, by the way, definitely beginning of the end of European economies, European financial and the banking system. 100%. I don't know why Western societies allow this to happen. I don't even know if Western societies, majority in Western societies, even realizing how dangerous for them, for their future, and for future of their kids and grandkids, current policies of their political elites really are. But they allow this to happen, and just give it another 10, 15, 20 years, by the way, and Europe gonna become some loosely relevant province, loosely relevant part of the Eurasian continent, and collective West countries in general gonna see decline in a big time, because this is the last straw, I will say. This is this is clearly a beginning of the end of financial and banking system of the West, and that means beginning of the end of economical dominance over the world. They are stealing money, by the way. They are openly stealing money from investors. right? And the entire world sees this, and how stupid anybody gonna be to invest even a penny into jurisdiction of the Washington, London, or Brussels, or Frankfurt, by the way. European Central Bank is in Frankfurt, right? So yes, it is what it is, man. This is very unfortunate, but and many financial institutions, including Western ones, were issuing warning after warning after warning. European Central Bank, IMF, by the way, World Bank, experts, different holdings and companies, they were all warning Western ruling class, Western politicians not to do this, not to steal Russian assets, because it will devastate Western financial and the banking system and the economies eventually. But they did not listen, man, because they are thieves. They are degenerates, man. Western politicians, they are degenerates, man. Imbeciles. Vast majority of them, like 99%. There are some exceptions here and there, obviously, but vast majority are total degenerates, man. And that's why they've been chosen by Western ruling class, true rulers of the West. That's why they've been put in a position of power, because they are degenerates, man. They will sign up for anything that they are told, because, well, they may are imbeciles, but still understand that they did not deserve anything that they have. They are not intellectuals, they are not decent human beings, they are degenerates, and still they feel themselves like on top of the world, and they will do anything to maintain this position, you know, and money flow. Unbelievable, man. But anyways, a relatively short update, which is a good. Hopefully you will find it interesting, informative, useful, and if so, please click that like button, leave some commentary, just about anything. More likes and comments are only way, by the way, only way we can deal with this crazy algorithm that YouTube has. And I noticed a couple of times that if likes, of course YouTube is manipulating with the numbers, view numbers, likes, and that they can delete anything. They are showing fake numbers and stuff, but I believe if video receives enough likes, then algorithm at some point will be forced to show my videos in recommendations, maybe. But anyways, if it's not difficult, by the way, just click that like button, leave some commentary just about anything. Wish me nice weekend, for example, as I wish you nice weekend. And yes, if you like my work, if you like my channels, please consider to support. All the links are under this video in the description box and in the pinned comment. This is it for now. Have a great day, wonderful weekend, and take care.